Today is Thursday, June 10th. We'll tell you how the U.S. plans to boost the vaccine supply worldwide. Also, two of former President Trump's top efforts undone. One has to do with oil, the other is about TikTok. Plus, why security lines are getting longer at airports, where Bitcoin is now an official currency, and how to see a solar eclipse happening this morning. Welcome to The Newsworthy. All the day's news in about 10 minutes. Fast, fair, fun, and on the go. I'm Lacey Evans, filling in for Erica Mandy during her maternity leave. You ready? Let's do this. The U.S. is making a big move to address a global COVID-19 vaccine shortage. Several news outlets cite sources who say the Biden administration made a deal to buy 500 million more Pfizer shots, and it will donate them all to lower-income countries around the world. The White House reportedly got them at a not-for-profit price. The first 200 million doses are supposed to go out this year, the rest during the first half of next year. They will all go through the COVAX initiative put together by the World Health Organization. President Biden is expected to announce the deal today at a meeting with the G7, or Group of Seven world leaders. He'll then press for the other countries to share doses as well. Vaccines certainly aren't the only thing on President Biden's agenda during his first presidential trip abroad. After landing in the UK yesterday, Biden spoke to American service members stationed there. He told them, quote, "We're going to make it clear the United States is back, and democracies of the world are standing together to tackle the toughest challenges." Biden will be meeting mostly with NATO allies about everything from climate change to taxes to the pandemic to trade. But the most anticipated moment of the trip will be his first in-person meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin next week. It could be tense, since the U.S. has accused Russia of interfering in U.S. elections, hacking U.S. government agencies and companies, and poisoning one of its own citizens. That citizen was Putin's rival, Alexei Navalny. The Russian government denies being behind his poisoning and has called the matter a domestic affair that's not up for discussion. Just this week, Russia banned any political organizations linked to Navalny. That means activists who keep working for the opposition leader are risking prison time. Navalny is still in jail himself, but a message posted on his Instagram account said, quote, "We're not going anywhere." It's not clear if President Biden plans to bring all this up during his meeting next week. So far, Biden just says he'll make it clear the U.S. wants a stable and predictable relationship with Russia, but that the U.S. will respond to any harmful activities. Stay tuned. A new report is giving some context behind one of the more controversial actions by the Trump administration last year. Last summer, federal and military police clashed with peaceful protesters in Lafayette Square near the White House. Authorities cleared the area using pepper balls, smoke canisters, and physical force before curfew. President Trump then walked to the church with members of his inner circle, then held up a Bible and posed for photos. Well, the Interior Department's Inspector General, who looks out for any misconduct, has been investigating the incident for the last several months. And now he says the photo op actually wasn't the reason authorities cleared the area. Instead, officers apparently needed protesters out so new security fencing could be installed. And at the time, federal police didn't know about Trump's plans to walk through the park. Still, the Inspector General did find other problems. For example, he said police weren't able to warn all protesters before U.S. Secret Service started moving on them, and there wasn't a lot of coordination between different departments. So the Inspector General recommends park police improve their warning systems and field communications in the future. For now, President Trump and the Justice Department are still facing lawsuits over the incident. The $9 billion oil pipeline that's been controversial for the last decade is now canceled. The company behind the Keystone XL Pipeline says it's decided to officially end the project. It was first proposed 13 years ago as a way to bring oil from Canada all the way down to refineries on the Texas Gulf Coast. But it's been controversial from the start. Even though supporters said it would create thousands of good-paying jobs and lower gas prices, environmentalists and Native American tribes said it would damage their land, kill local wildlife, and slow down the transition to cleaner fuel sources. So back in January, President Biden killed the permit for the pipeline, halting construction. The developer tried to negotiate a deal to get it up and running again, but it looks like the Biden administration refused to budge. So now it's going to start shutting things down. Airport security is stretched thin these days. In fact, the Washington Post got hold of a memo from the head of the TSA that says 131 of the largest airports in the U.S. are facing staffing shortages. So it's now asking office workers to volunteer at airport checkpoints. TSA is also promising $500 monthly bonuses to screeners at short-staffed airports, and it's adding more overtime, forcing many officers to work on their days off. The agency is hoping to bring on another 3,000 employees by the end of summer to solve the problem. But the issue is, airports are becoming a lot busier now. In fact, TSA says larger airports are now at full capacity, meaning people will really notice the long waits in places where security is short-staffed. As the Post reports, the airports with the biggest TSA shortages are in Detroit, Denver, St. Louis, Boston, and Dulles Airport outside Washington, D.C. Much more still ahead, but first, your main host Erica Mandy explains why she loves our sponsor, FrameBridge.
Hey, Erica here, and I'm excited to tell you about an amazing service called FrameBridge. FrameBridge makes it easier and more affordable than ever to frame your favorite things, from art prints and posters to that travel photo that might otherwise get lost on your phone. And if you need a gift for dad or a friend, get this. Simply upload your photo and order by Tuesday, June 15th for guaranteed free delivery in time for Father's Day. Just go to framebridge.com and upload your photo, preview your item online in any frame style, choose your favorite, or do what I did and get free recommendations with their talented designers. I ordered frames for our new nursery, and their recommendations helped me find such a cute frame. Then it's all delivered right to your door. Or they can deliver to dad in time for Father's Day when you place your order by Tuesday, June 15th. So order a custom gift for any dad in your life in just minutes. Go to framebridge.com and use the promo code Newsworthy. You'll save an additional 15% off your first order. Just go to framebridge.com with the promo code Newsworthy. Framebridge.com with the code Newsworthy.
For now, it looks like the popular video sharing app TikTok and the messaging app WeChat are here to stay. President Biden decided to undo executive orders that former President Trump signed last year. Remember, Trump told the apps they had to sell to American companies or be banned. Trump was concerned about national security since the apps are owned by Chinese companies. However, the bans never took effect because of legal challenges. And this week, Biden revoked Trump's orders and created his own. The new one tells the Commerce Department to launch national security reviews of any apps with links to foreign adversaries like China. Depending on what those reviews find, there could be new restrictions. In the meantime, though, both TikTok and WeChat are up and running in the U.S. Remember that cyber attack that forced the world's largest meat processing company to shut down its plants? Well, it turns out the company paid big to get things working again. JBS says it gave the hackers $11 million in Bitcoin. Company executives say they hated doing it, but that it was necessary so restaurants, grocery stores, and farmers that rely on their services weren't badly impacted by the cyber attack. After JBS handed over the ransom, they were able to access their systems again. The FBI says it thinks a ransomware group called REvil was behind the hack. That's another group with ties to Russia, but so far it hasn't been able to recover that ransom. And whether they're eventually able to or not, the FBI still says companies shouldn't pay, since doing so supports a growing criminal industry. Plus, it's not always guaranteed that it will help get things working again. It's official. Bitcoin has become legal tender in El Salvador. The nation's president signed a new law yesterday, making El Salvador the first country in the world to fully embrace the cryptocurrency as actual money. It means companies will have to accept Bitcoin as payment, and people will be able to pay taxes with it. El Salvador has partnered with a mobile payments app called Strike to help build the system. The president is hoping this could give people more financial freedom. As CNBC reports, 70% of people in El Salvador don't have bank accounts or credit cards. El Salvador has used the American dollar as its main currency since 2001, and it will stay that way. Early risers will see a solar eclipse this morning. This happens when the moon moves directly between the sun and the earth, and this morning it will look like there is a ring of fire in the sky. People in Greenland, northern Russia, and Canada will be able to see it best, but a lot of Americans will also get to see a partial eclipse, meaning the moon will cover part of the sun. So keep an eye out if you live in the southeast, northeast, Midwest, or northern Alaska. It is expected to look its best at around 6:40 a.m. Eastern Time. If you can't see the eclipse where you live, there are live streams online that we've linked to in today's episode notes, and there will be replays later in the day. The next solar eclipse is expected to happen in December. The biggest stars in country music gathered last night for the CMT Music Awards. In this award show, fans vote for all of the winners, and the most coveted award of the night is the Video of the Year award. This year, that prize went to Carrie Underwood and John Legend for their ballad, Hallelujah. It was John Legend's first CMT award. This was Underwood's 23rd, the most of any artist in history. Kane Brown and Kelsey Ballerini hosted the event. There were plenty of solo performances, too, from country stars like Miranda Lambert, Dierks Bentley, and Luke Bryan. That's it for the main news today. So now it's time for Thing to Know Thursday. And today, we're talking about the Brood 10 cicadas and how much longer they're going to be around. But first, Erica is back with today's sponsor, BetterHelp.
When was the last time you thought about your mental health? I think it's so important to talk about because our mental health is just as important as our physical health. When anything, even temporarily, might be interfering with your happiness, why not address it? There may be even things you don't realize are getting in your way. So big or small, BetterHelp wants to help. BetterHelp will assess your needs and match you with your own licensed professional therapist to help you figure out what's going on. And I love that you can message your therapist anytime. And of course, you can set up phone or video calls to really get the full benefit of BetterHelp. They have counselors who are specialized in stress, anxiety, grief, relationships, and much more. And if you're ever not happy with your counselor, just change counselors anytime until you find the right fit. And you always connect in a private online environment. I want you to start living a happier life today. And as a listener, you'll get 10% off your first month by visiting betterhelp.com/newsworthy. That's BetterHelp, H-E-L-P, betterhelp.com/newsworthy.
Okay, now back to Thing to Know Thursday. The Brood 10 cicadas mating season is about halfway over. Remember, trillions of the insects emerged last month for the first time in 17 years in more than a dozen eastern and midwestern states. Cicadas live underground for most of their lives, only coming out temporarily to reproduce. That loud buzzing you've been hearing is the sound of the males calling out for mates. Once the females lay eggs, the adult cicadas will die off, likely by the end of this month. And once hatched, their offspring will burrow back underground and start the process all over again. One of the areas crowded with cicadas these days is Washington, D.C. And yesterday, cicadas made headlines when they swarmed a plane that was supposed to fly White House reporters to the U.K. The AP reports the cicadas delayed the flight for about 7 hours before the crew decided to use a different plane altogether. One more note on cicadas. Federal regulators have cautioned people against eating them. The FDA actually put out a statement warning that cicadas could harm people with seafood allergies, since cicadas are related to shrimp and lobsters. Still, adventurous foodies and professional chefs have been experimenting with the insects by frying them or prepping them as a salad topping. And that's your Thing to Know today. Thank you for tuning in today, and don't forget, we offer ad-free episodes if you sign up as a Newsworthy Insider. Go to thenewsworthy.com/insider to learn more. We'll be back tomorrow with more news. Until then, have a great day.